Welcome to Graham-Kapowsin's 14th Annual Veterans Day Assembly. This assembly is dedicated to honoring those who have dedicated their time and in some cases, sacrificed their lives to serve our country. Please rise for the posting of the colors. We would now like to have a moment of silence to honor the men and women of our armed forces who could not join us today, who are currently fighting and serving our country or have given their lives doing so. Thank you. I would now like to direct your attention ahead of me for the ceremony of the POW. Please stand as the honor guard places the 5 service covers at each empty place setting. POW stands for Prisoners of War. It is reserved to honor service members that have been captured by the enemy in wartime. The tradition of setting a separate table in honor of our prisoners of war and missing comrades has been in place since the end of the Vietnam War. The manner in which this table is decorated is full of special symbols to help us remember our brothers and sisters in arms. Except for 5, the empty place settings represent Americans still missing from each of the 5 services: the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Please be seated. I will now explain the meaning of the items on this special table. The table is round, to show our everlasting concern for our missing service members. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the life of each of the missing, and the loved ones and friends of these Americans who keep the faith awaiting answers. The vase is tied with a yellow ribbon, symbol of our continued determination to account for the missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured or missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers. The glasses are inverted to symbolize their inability to share this day's toast. The chairs are empty. They represent the missing. As we look upon this empty table, do not remember ghosts from the past, but remember the sacrifices of those who gave their all in service of their country. Let us remember the men and women prisoners of war from all branches of services that are often forgotten. Would you please stand as the honor guard exits? You may now be seated. As we all know, these past 8 months have been difficult on our nation as a whole. This period of quarantine has been a struggle for families all across America and across the world too. Despite this period of temporary shutdown and isolation, our military doesn't quit working. Instead of sitting back, service members go out and do even more to help communities, both at home and abroad. As you know, the mission never ends. The military is helping to control hospital overflow, prepare for worsening conditions, and ensure safety. They put themselves at risk of contracting a dangerous virus, putting the community first. They are always ready to lay down their lives, not only for their brothers and sisters in arms, but for every fellow American as well. They fight for American freedom, not just their own. As we move along to Veterans Day weekend, take time to honor and celebrate members of all branches who have made immense sacrifices for all American citizens in order to keep our country safe. When you see a veteran or active duty service member, be sure to thank them for their selfless service. Thank them for helping to preserve our freedoms and values. Unfortunately, due to the current circumstances, we cannot properly salute the armed forces as we have in years past. However, our veterans deserve recognition no matter what. Please now direct your attention to the projector as we recognize our local veterans. Traditional taps is a bugle call sounded at flag ceremonies and at military funerals since the Civil War. We are playing taps today to remember those who have fallen in the line of service. Please remain silent as a member of the band plays taps. This concludes our 14th Annual Veterans Day Assembly. We would like to thank you all for joining us today and being respectful during our presentation. Take time this weekend to remember why we have these days off. Thank you all again for being here with us today, and please thank a veteran this weekend.